Good afternoon, everyone. Here, so I'm here. So I am doing Andrew and Thomas Kokoraleis, and another one, gang members. So Andrew and Thomas Kokoraleis. I think I know how to pronounce their names now. So anyway, okay, I will be talking about. I'll be talking about Andrew and Thomas Kokoraleis. There are other ones too, is Robin Geach and Edward Spritzer was a bunch of gang members who terrorized people all over Chicago. Robin and his gang was organized crime group of serial killers, cannibals, rapists, necrophiliacs, and the group comprised of Robin and the three associates, Edward and Andrew and Thomas, were suspected in murdering 17 or 18 women in a random drive-by shooting. According to one of the detectives who investigated the case, Geach, Robin Geach, made Manson look like a Boy Scout. I believe that. And see, if I would have done anything, I'd make everybody, a Boy Scout and a Girl Scout. Because if I do it, I do a lot better than them. So, and then the myself, I wouldn't care less about anybody else. I just do it. So, you know, but the gang's first victim was a 28-year-old Linda Sutton, who was abducted on May 23rd, 1981. 10 days later, her body was found in a field of Villa Park, Illinois. Her body has been mutilated, and her left breast got amputated. It was almost a year before the gang struck again. On May 15, 1982, they abducted Lorraine Borowski just as she was about to open up her real estate office where she worked. Her body was discovered 5 months later in the cemetery of Chicago. Her body was not found. This where the body was 5 months later. Her body was found in the cemetery. On May 27th, they abducted Jay Mack from the Hanover Park village northeast of Villa Park. Her body was not found for 4 months. After 2 weeks, two abductions, so they abducted Mack. They picked up Angel York in their van, handcuffed her, and slashed her breast before throwing her out of the van. And she was still alive. She gave description of her attackers, failed to produce any leads. The gang did not strike again for 2 months. On August 28, 1982, the body of Sandra Delaware was discovered on the banks of Chicago River. She had been discovered on the banks of Chicago. She had been discovered on the banks. Oh, okay. See, I repeat. Oh, she has been stabbed, strangled, and her left breast was amputated. All these serial killers, they got MOs. They got MOs, right? So and the same MO would be the same serial killer. So on September 8th, 31-year-old Rosa Davis has been found in the alley having suffered almost identically injured as Delaware. On October 6, 1982, the gang shot a 20-year-old Rafael Torolo, a local drug dealer, and his friend, 18-year-old Alberto Rosa, at the phone booth, who in a random drive-by shooting. According to Spritzers, he was with Geach when the older man told him to slow down. Geach took two guns from the back of his car and told Spritzer to stop at a car who them and opened fire on Turlo and Rosetta, hitting both of the Rosero survived and injured, while Turlo succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. Turlo was the very first gang's only male victim. So, same day, only male victim. The same day the gang committed these final crimes, Robert Geach alone lured a prostitute, Beverly Washington, into his car, offering her money than what was asked for him. He got found on the railroad tracks with an amputated breast, and breast has been slashed. The other breast has been slashed. She survived the attack and able to give description of Gitch and his van were in disappearance of in his van where the attack took place. The men were suspects. The men were suspects in the disappearance of Carol Pappas, wife of a Chicago Cubs baseball pitcher, Milt Pappas. She disappeared on September 11, 1982. Her body was recovered 5 years later, and then the death was ruled an accident. Beverly, yeah, real. When Gitch was first arrested, and he had to be released since the police had investigated no evidence to connected him to the crimes. After further investigations, the police discovered that in 1981 he had rented a room in the motel, and he had controlled motel rooms controlling, and they've been having loud parties and involved in some kind of cult. So Robert Geach was first arrested on October 20th, 1982, after the man was connected by the police in October 6th attack. Several days later, Geach posted bond and was re-released. Police re-arrested Geach on November 5th and then tracked down the other men, Edward Splitter and the two Kokoraleis brothers. Gitch was later indicted on an order to be held on $1 million bail. Andrew Kokoraleis was arrested on November 7th, and he had Spritzer confessed to up to 17 murders. 3 days later, they were indicted and ordered held without bond. Thomas Kokoraleis was arrested on March 12th and interrogated. He confessed that he had and others had taken women back to Geach's place, what Geach's calls his um, his apartment or his house as satanic chapel. So satanic chapel. There are they have been raped, tortured women, and amputated the breasts with a wire garrote. Garrote. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't even know what it is. So Kokoraleis went to say that they would eat parts of their severed breasts as kindly as sacrament, and that Geach would masturbate to the breast, claiming that once and then before putting them in a box. Kokoraleis claims that he once saw 15 breasts in a box. Geach, the only member of the gang to maintain his innocence, was never tried for any of the murders. Due to a lack of evidence, in 1983 he was convicted of attempted murder, aggravated kidnapping, deferrate sexual assault, and rape for a non-fatal rape on of Beverly, Washington. Each was sentenced to 120 years in prison. Before sentencing, each judge, Francis P. J. McMahon, told him the only a devil would do this. Not an animal would not do this. A monster would do this. He pointed out that Geach had left Washington for dead, and that Geach would left Washington and lucky not to be tried for murder. Geach was serving a 120-year sentence at Danville Correction Center. His next parole hearing is October 10, 2042. If you're serving a 120-year sentence, why would you get parole? I don't understand that, but oh well. And he would be 88 years old. In 1984, Spritzer, in a bid of leniency, pleaded guilty to murder in the deaths of Shormack, Rose Davis, and Sandra Delaware, and Raphael Toronto, as well as attempted murder, aggravated kidnapping, and deviant sexual assault and rape. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In 1986, Spritzer was convicted of murder and aggravated kidnapping in the deaths of Linda Sutton